So we started the week before. We started the new book of Shemot, the second book. You know that every book has a Bereshit, Shemot, Vaeira have another name. Sefer Bereshit in the Midrash in the Gemara is brought down is called Sefer HaYashar. What's Yashar? Straight. Yashar means straight. And why it's called straight? So there's a great rabbi, the Netziv. He was a Rosh Yeshiva in Europe, Reb Naftali Tzvi of Berlin. No, it's in Berlin. He was one of the Rosh Yeshiva in Volozhin, the first yeshiva in Europe. And he said, what is straight, guys? Well, how you define straight? People that are straight, what does that mean? So he said a very interesting idea. Straight means that people that know to deal with other people that know to deal with society, with Jews and with non-Jews. And that's why the Avot, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, were considered righteous people, but not only that they're righteous people that care for others, care for the other people. And that's what's called straight. And the Netziv says, it's fascinating. Somebody that is a tzaddik but doesn't care for others, that's crooked. That's not straight. And Hashem wants us to be just like him, to copy Hashem as much as possible. That's our job in the world. And the Avot, they're so great and so righteous that they were caring for people in general. When Hashem says to Avraham Avinu that he is a bad town named Sodom, bad, evil people, he wants to turn it over, to destroy it. What does Avraham Avinu do? Negotiate with Hashem. Oh, maybe there are 50 righteous people around. Maybe 45, maybe 40. Yeah, you remember that story? So he didn't say, oh, well, you want to kill the bad people? Do it, go for it. Why not? No, he's there standing, negotiating with Hashem. There's a whole story in the Torah talking about this whole idea that maybe we could save the people. And what Avraham is trying to do here? Trying to save society. Cares about them. He's praying. Okay, so that's the idea. You see it, Avraham Avinu, it was well known. The Avot, each one was known in his uniqueness. He had something special. Avraham Avinu was a master of chesed, kindness, feeding thousands of people and using that as a tool that they should recognize that is one creator to the world and they should worship and serve the real creator. But he was doing a lot of hospitality, doing a lot of kirv, feeding people and showing them the truth. But he was the master of chesed. Yitzchak was the master of Gvura, strength. He was the one that was binded on the altar and willing to be sacrificed. He didn't fight against his father. Says, well, leave me alone. Find the animal to do it. Why you want me? He went forward. That's Yitzchak, Gvura, strength. And Yaakov is Tiferet. Tiferet, Emes, the truth. Yaakov is the one that is building the 12 tribes. Till we come to the point, we start with Avram, that he was already chosen, but he has a son. Avram has a son, Yitzchak, and he has a son, Ishmael. So things are not so great. Yitzchak has a son, Yaakov, and he has a son, Esav. It's only when we come to Yaakov, we have the 12 holy tribes that they are all good and righteous people. Did they sin once in a while? Yes. But they are considered the holy 12 tribes. And Yaakov rebukes them in the end of his life. He tells them, hey, you did that. Why you do this? Why you do this? He rebukes them and gives the blessing. But only when we come to the point of Yaakov, we have the 12 tribes. So anyway, so Sefer Bereshit is called Sefer HaYashar, the straight. And that's the beautiful explanation of the Netziv. Straight means the people that care for others. It's not enough to be righteous, guys. You have to be straight. And the book of Shemot is called Sefer HaGeula, the book of redemption. Here really we start the story of the Jewish people as a nation. Till Matan Torah, the Jewish people was a family. Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, like we just said. 12 tribes go down to Mitzrayim. And they get stuck there. And the exile of the Jewish people starts in Egypt. And then finally, right, comes a point that Hashem takes them out from Egypt and gives them the Torah. So the book of Shemot is called the Sefer HaGeula. That's really the idea. This is the birth, the birth of the nation of the Jewish people as a nation starts with the exodus of Egypt. Up till then it was a family. Okay, so let's go to this week's Parsha, Parashat Vaeira. So page 318. So, Vaydaber Elokim el Moshe, Hashem appears to Moshe, Vayomer elav ani Hashem. I'm Hashem. Vaeira el Avraham, I appeared also to Avraham, El Yitzchak, Vel Yaakov. I already appeared to the patriarchs also. Bekel Shaddai, I appeared to them with the name Kel Shaddai. But Ushmi Hashem, the name of Yud Ke Vav Ke, Lo Nodati Lehem, I did not appear to them. So what is going on here? So let's just remember where we're holding exactly. Last week we read that Moshe went to the first time to Pharaoh and said to him, release the Jewish people. What did Pharaoh answer? You know what did Pharaoh answer?
No.
Yeah, no. What else he said?
Made it worse for them.
Oh, so Pharaoh's response is, who is Hashem? I don't know him. So, who is Hashem? I don't know him. Vayomer Paro, mi Hashem, who is Hashem? Asher ishma bekolo, that I should listen to him. Leshalach, to send the Jewish people. Lo yadati, I don't know him. Vegam it Yisrael lo shalach, I'm not going to send out the Jewish people. And Moshe starts again. Well, the God came and appeared to us. He wants us to release the Jewish people. And Pharaoh does worse. He says, you guys are complaining that the Jewish people are in slavery, they're working too hard? Well, guess what? We're not going to supply them destroy anymore. They had to do these bricks, right, from the straw and the mud and build. Well, we're not going to give you the supplies. You will have to produce exactly the same amount, and you have to go find the straw on your own. And obviously, that was a problem. What do you mean? They have to go, up till today at least, they got the supplies to make these bricks. And now they have to go from scratch to look for the material of the straw and hay and mud and to make them. And they're hitting the Jewish people. And that created a lot of pressure. You know, if that was enough, even now the people are starting to become even more down. They're complaining to Moshe. What they're saying to him? Why did you go speak to Pharaoh? Yeah, remember that from last week? Look, go a minute back to the page before, 316. 316, verse 20. Vayivgeu et Moshe vet Aaron. They bump into Moshe around, the Jewish people. Nitzavim, standing likratam. Betzetam miparo. So the Jewish people, right, bumped into Moshe and Pharaoh just when they went out of Pharaoh. Vayomru elehem. Yireh Hashem elechem. Hashem should see. Vayishpot, he should judge. Asher revashtem et rechenu. You caused a bad smell, meaning you caused something bad for us. Beinei Paro. Things were not great, but you just made it worse in the eyes of Pharaoh and his servants. Latet chev be'adam bargenu is as if you gave them a sword to kill us. Right? The situation that after you spoke to Pharaoh just became worse. So not only you didn't help us, you made it worse. So Moshe goes back to Hashem and says, what's going on? Hashem, you asked me to go to Pharaoh to release the Jewish people. And it not only it didn't help, it actually made it worse. That was the end of last week's parasha. That's verse 22. You see, Vayoshav Moshe el Hashem. Moshe returns to Hashem. Lama heriota? Why you made it worse? Lama zeh. Lama shlachtani? Why you send me? Why you asked me to go to speak to Pharaoh? From the day that I came, it just became worse. And Hashem says to him, Atatire, verse 1, yeah, chapter 6. You'll see, what I'll do to Pharaoh, ki biyad chazaka, with my strong arm, with my strong hand, yeshalchem, he'll send them on. So that's what's going on right now. So Moshe went back to complain to Hashem. Why you send me? Why you ask me to speak to Pharaoh? Not only he didn't help them, actually made things worse, bad. And Hashem says to him, don't worry, you're going to see. And what's happening is like this, guys. Hashem has different ways that he runs the world. You're familiar that, right? We know that it's different names of God. For example, Hashem means the God of mercy. Elohim means the God of judgment. The idea is Hashem runs the world in different ways. And Hashem is saying to him over here, to Moshe, I already appeared to the patriarchs, to Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. I communicate with all of them. I promised Abraham that his children is going to come into the land of Israel. All is that is true. But they didn't see yet my greatest of changing nature. All the Avot, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, Hashem appeared to them and they communicate with them. Yaakov wanted to know, should I go down to Egypt? And what does Hashem say to him? Yes, go down, don't worry, I'll help you. Go down. It was a famine in the land. Yitzchak wanted to know what to do. What does Hashem say to him? Hey, you, Yitzchak, you don't go out the land. Why Yitzchak doesn't go out the land? Because he was holy. He was on the altar. So always Hashem is there with the Avraham Avinu, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, telling them what to do and helping them out. But so to speak, he didn't do the mega miracles changing creation. And that's what Hashem is saying to him. I already appeared to Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, but they didn't see my greatest power yet. The greatest power is about to happen. The miracles that the Jewish people will experience, taking revenge of the Egyptians, punishing the Egyptians, getting rid of the evil of the bad, and taking out the Jewish people, that will be miracles, mega miracles, that will change nature. So Hashem is giving him an introduction to what it's about to happen. The name Yud-Kei Vav-Kei is changing everything around, and that's what's about to happen. Okay. So that's an introduction just to explain to Moshe Rabbeinu, don't worry. Now, the idea also, when Hashem is saying to him, you see, Hashem has his ways of redemptions. And Moshe goes to speak to Pharaoh, and he's getting a bad answer. Not only bad, it's coming worse for the Jewish people. But Hashem is saying to him in our language, don't worry. Mega miracles are about to happen, and the miracles that Hashem does and provide when there's a need to take out the Jewish people out of Egypt are mega miracles that are not predictable. Hashem has his ways. So even things that look, oh my gosh, we're going in the wrong direction. What is going on here? It's just worse for us. Hashem says to them, don't worry. It looks to you that it's worse. It's good. It looks to you the other way around, that we're going in the wrong direction. But these mega miracles are about to happen. So it's an introduction to Moshe that this is what's going to happen. Okay, these miracles, when the Jewish people do go out of Egypt, finally, right, the birth of the nation, like we said, 50 days after they go out from Egypt, Hashem gives them the Torah, Matan Torah. What is the first commandment? What is the first commandment? Well, guys, you missed school that day?
Yeah.
No? Anochi Hashem Elokecha, I'm Hashem your God. That took you out of Egypt. Hashem appears to the Jewish people and says to them, I'm Hashem your God that just 50 days ago took you out of Egypt. Why doesn't Hashem say, I'm Hashem that created heaven, earth, the whole universe, the whole world? Why does it appear to them as the God that took them out of Egypt? So, two answers. One is he's telling them, hey guys, you don't have to go back thousands of years when I created the world. Something that just happened that you experience. I took you out of Egypt. He appears to them, to the same people. I took you out of Egypt. Anochi Hashem Elokecha, I'm the Hashem the God. Asher hotzeticha, it was me that took you out of Egypt. After you were there in 210 years. A slave wasn't able to go. One single slave wasn't able to go out of Egypt. Pharaoh is a dictator that was hard to deal with. So to get out millions of people, it's me that took you out of Egypt. So he's relating to them directly that something happened just now, relevant to them. B, the miracles, changing nature. Who could change nature? Only the one that created it knows how to change it. So really when Hashem says, I'm Hashem that took you out of Egypt, he's really saying, well, included in that, well, I created heaven and earth. Only the creator has the keys to change the buttons and to change things around that the Nile should turn to blood and the frogs will come all over and lice all over and changing creation. But he's approaching, talking to them, something that just happened to you now. You experienced it in your lifetime, not too long ago, 50 days ago. So it's not stories or testimony that you have to hear from the others or do research. Just what happened 50 years ago. How long took the 10 plagues that Hashem is punishing the Egyptians? How long it took?
A year.
Very good. So 12 months. The way that it worked, every plague was for a week, and 3 weeks was a break between a plague to a plague. So the whole story of the plagues, for most commentaries, they make this calculation. All the story is taking 12 months. In the last 6 months, the Egyptians already released the Jewish people. So it comes out, the Jewish people came out from Egypt when? Pesach, 15th of Nisan, in the morning they go out of Egypt. So a year before, already Hashem is starting to punish the Egyptians. And it goes in stages. Hashem is starting to punish the Egyptians. In the middle, 6 months, they release the Jewish people. The so to speak, the plagues are starting to work on the Egyptians. He released the Jewish people from slavery, but he didn't let them to go out of Egypt. 6 months later, he lets them to go out of Egypt, and that's the final redemption. But it goes in stages. Okay, so that's that. That's the introduction. Like I said to you, that Hashem is telling him, don't worry, you're going to experience great miracles. And that's what really happens later on. These great miracles that you see that the Egyptians are being punished are like changing nature. And that's why Hashem says, I'm Hashem your God that took you out of Egypt. Okay. Now, is this accidental what's happening? That Yaakov comes down to Egypt with his 12 children. That's because there was a famine. Everybody remembers that. They were looking for food. And Yosef is second command in Egypt. So Yaakov comes down with his family. And they're in Egypt. They're stuck over there. Is all this accidental, just happened to be? Or this is the plan of Hashem?
Accidental, definitely.
Nice. Good answer. Right. So you heard what Avi is saying, guys?
That's what you were.
So, right? So Avi was just checking to see if you're awake, guys, right? Obviously, this is a plan. Well, yeah. So obviously, guys, this is the plan of Hashem. And let me show you the mega plan. And this is a very interesting idea, guys. Hashem has the mega plan. how things have to happen in the future, the mega plan. But the details, how they'll happen, actually, it depends on us. So let me show you. Let's go back. Where I'm going back to, I'm going back to the covenant that Hashem did with Avraham Avinu. You remember that covenant that Hashem did with Avraham Avinu? Way, way back in the day?
No.
Not Loach. That will be in Lech Lecha. Yeah. So go back to page. One second. Yeah, go back to page 68, guys. This is the covenant. What we call, the Hebrew name is Brit Ben Apetarim, the covenant that were made between the cuts, the different parts. The way that it was is that when two parties do agreement, they cut a certain animal and they go in the middle and they make the covenant. Okay, so look at this. So page 68, we could start. The Torah describes the different how the covenant happened. Let's go to verse 11. Vayered ha'ait, verse 12. Sorry, 12. Vehi hashemesh lavo, the sun came out. 68, verse 12. Everybody's okay? So the sun came out. V'tardema nafla al Avram. Avram falls asleep. A deep sleep falls on Avram Avinu, meaning he, so to speak, he loses conscious and he falls asleep. A deep sleep. V'tardema nafla. The Torah is describing it as a deep sleep. Tardema nafla Avram. V'hinei, and behold, ema. He feels that he's so afraid. Chashecha, darkness, gdola nofelet alav. He sees in his vision a darkness, something that he's not comfortable. And Hashem says to him like this: Vayomer Avraham, Yadoa Teda. Yadoa Teda. What's Yadoa? You should know. And the Torah, many times when the Torah wants to emphasize something, she repeats it twice. You should know, and you should know. Ki ger yezaracha, your descendants will be a stranger. Ger is a stranger, somebody that is not living in his home place, in his town, in his place that he was born. Right? Ki ger, he doesn't belong there. Ki ger. Your descendants will be strangers. Be'eretz lo lahem, in the land that they don't belong to. So your descendants will be strangers. Ve'avdum, they'll put them in slavery. Ve'inu otam, they'll suffer. Arba me'ot shana. How many years? 400 years. So this is the covenant that Hashem is doing with Avraham Avinu way, way, way back in the day, in the beginning, when Avraham is communicating with Hashem, and he tells him this is the future. This is what's going to happen with your descendants. It goes on. V'gam et hagoy, verse 14. V'gam et hagoy, the nation asher yavdu, that nation that will put them in slavery. Dan anochi, I will judge them. They'll pay for that. They'll be punished for that. V'achrei ken yitzu b'rechush gadol. When will come the time, eventually your descendants will go out with a lot of wealth. They'll get them a lot of gold, silver, and such. Okay. So look at this. This is the mega plan that Hashem is telling Avraham Avinu way, way back in the day. Does it say where this will take place? Where this exile will be? No. Does it say in details how they'll suffer? It says very general. They'll be in slavery and suffer. Suffering could be what? Exact, right? Suffering could be a million things. You know that the Talmud says that suffering could be something so easy that you're looking to take out a $20 bill from your pocket and accidentally comes out a $50 bill from your pocket. So you have to put in, again, your hand to the pocket to take out the right bill. So that considers suffering. And suffering also to the extreme could be suffering on his deathbed, right? Really suffering from 1,000 things. So suffering could be something relatively very, very light or very, very terrible. This is the mega plan, guys. Hashem says to him, your descendants will be strangers in a place, in a land that they don't belong. The Jewish people will start in exile. And then eventually I'll take them out and I'll bring them down to the land of Israel. That's what Hashem says to him. Look at verse 16. V'dor revi'i, the fourth generation, Yashuv will return to here. Ki lo shalem avon ha'emori ad hena. Only the fourth generation will make it back to the land of Israel. Hashem is talking to him in Israel. And because the non-Jews that are here, the Amorites that are here, still have merit to be here. So only when they are done, the Amorites are done, they don't have any more rights to be here, then Hashem will take out the Jewish people from Egypt and bring them to here. You see, only Hashem could put all the pieces of the puzzle together. There's a lot going on here. When the Jewish people have rights to come to Israel, and when the non-Jews have no more rights to be here. When that Hashem figures this out, he makes everything to happen. Okay, so this is again the mega plan. And this is the idea. Hashem says to him, this is what's going to be. Your Jewish people will be in slavery for 400 years. Now, were the Jewish people in Egypt for 400 years? Did it end up like this, guys? Were the Jewish people there for 400 years? No. How many years they were actually in Egypt?
210.
210. So what happened? What, Hashem changed his mind?
Good behavior. Good behavior.
Oh. So the idea is, again, what you're seeing over here is, like I said to you, this is the mega plan, and I'll use the word flexible. Hashem will do it the way that it's possible. If the Jewish people are doing good and good behavior, so the exile could be very light, very easy. When the tribe comes, when the family of Yosef come to Egypt and they're living there, that's exile. Are they suffering? The brothers of Yosef, guys, are they suffering? No, they're having a comfortable life. Pharaoh gave them to settle in the area of Goshen. He gave them nice houses, fields. All of them are shepherds. They have place to grazing the animals. So he gave them cars, villas, everything. They're doing great. Are they suffering? The answer is, Ben Zion? No. Are they in exile? Yes. When the whole generation passes away, Yosef and his brothers, that's where we left last week. A new power comes up with a new decree, and he doesn't know Yosef. That itself, needs an explanation. What do you mean you don't know Yosef? Yosef saved this whole country, right? It means he didn't want to know Yosef anymore. He didn't appreciate what Yosef did to him, and a new decree, a new period starts for the Jewish people. So the idea is like this. When Hashem has this mega plan, it's flexible. It all depends on the behavior of the Jewish people. You could be in exile and live very comfortable. You could be in exile and suffer. The suffering of the Jewish people starts only if the older generation of the brothers pass away. Commentaries explain the Jewish people dropped the good behavior, starting to be like the Egyptians. They say, we don't want to live only in Goshen. We want to spread out. Look at the verses last week. What does it say? The land started to become full with the Jews. Does that mean? When the tribes came in the beginning, they were living only in a certain area in Goshen. But then they're growing and growing and growing, and the years, right? And they expand, and the Jews started to move all around. The next thing is they say, well, we want to be like the Egyptians. Why we should be different? Oh, you want to be like the Egyptians? Well, the Egyptians will remind you that you're Jewish. And then comes the slavery. And then comes the pain. So that's the idea how the two things come together. It's like I said to you, Hashem has the calculation how everything has to work out. Is a mega plan that Hashem appeared to Avraham Avinu and said to him, your descendants will be in slavery for 400 years. Oh, it actually ended up to be only 210. The 400 years you could count from the birth of Yitzchak. You could say that was also exile. Yitzchak had a lot of problems with his neighbors. If you remember, he was digging the wells and they filled them up once, twice. It was a famine, he had to travel. Same thing, Yaakov for sure had tons of problems. Yaakov had his whole life was problems. Running away from Esav, running away from his father-in-law, coming to here, to Israel, having problem with Shechem. So Hashem is leaving it open that the 400 years doesn't have to be in Egypt. It doesn't say here Egypt, right? And that's the idea. This is a mega plan that the Jewish people are not coming to Israel only a certain while. But what will be till then? What will be till the Jewish people come into Israel? Well, depends how we act and how we behave. If we act and we behave well, we'll be in exile. But no worries. Like the Jewish people in Goshen, we're doing great. We have yeshivot, we have schools, we have cheders, we have everything is there. We have kosher pizza, we have kosher butcher, it's all there. The problems start when the Jewish people start to change and behave and want to be like the Egyptians, then starts the suffering and the problems for the Jewish people. So that's very important to know that, we are making history and we are framing it and shaping it the way that it should be. Hashem has the mega plan, but we, with our actions, are writing the history the way that it should be. 400 years, flexible. Exile, flexible. How much suffering, flexible. All that is depend on us. Okay. So that's one thing to show you that all what's happening is a big mega plan of Hashem telling Avraham Avinu, I'm making the covenant with you. Your descendants will make it into Israel, but it's not happening tomorrow. It's not happening tomorrow, and it's not happening in 10 years. It will take a while till the Amorites will be kicked out from the land of Israel, and then the Jewish people will come in. What will happen till then, it depends on the Jews. Okay, let me share with you another point. When Moshe comes to Pharaoh and says to him, release the Jewish people, what was his presentation? Let them go forever? Or he said it a little bit differently?
3 days in the wild.
What you said?
3 days in the wild.
Oh, very good. So go back a minute again to 312. And this is an important detail. Because we're coming to the point that Hashem is starting to punish Pharaoh. and Hashem is going to harden his heart, right? Make his heart strong, that he should, so to speak, won't change his mind to release the Jewish people. But look at that. Go back to 312. And let's see the whole conversation. Let's go to verse 2. Okay? Vayomer Paro. Yeah, sorry. Let's go to verse 1. Chapter 5. 312, right? This is the first time that Moshe is speaking, has this first meeting with Pharaoh. V'achar ba'u Moshe v'Aaron vayomer el Paro. Ko hamar Hashem, this is what the God, Elokei, the God of the Jewish people said. Shalach et ami, release my people, release my nation, let them go. Let my people go. V'yachugu li bamidbar. What is he asking, guys? Release my people. Moshe and Aaron are saying to Pharaoh, the God of the Jewish people is asking to release the Jewish people to go to celebrate something in the desert. V'yachugu li bamidbar. Well, Pharaoh responds and says, Vayomer Paro, mi Hashem asher ishma bekolo. Who is Hashem that I should listen to him? Leshalach et Israel, to send the Jewish people. Lo yadati et Hashem, I don't know who he is. V'gam et Israel lo ashalach. I'm not sending out the Jewish people. I'm not letting them to go. I don't know Hashem. I'm not sending the Jewish people. They go on. Moshe, verse 3. Vayomu Elokei ha'ivrim nikra eleinu. The God of the Hebrews. He appeared to us. He spoke to us. Nilchana, we should go. Please let us go. Derech, on the way, a journey. Shloshet yamim bamidbar. Just let us go for 3 days to celebrate in the desert. V'nizbecha, will bring offerings over there, Hashem, Elokeinu. And if you don't do that, well, he's going to hit you with his ways. But what are they asking? Just let us go for 3 days. Very clear. What's going on here? Why we're doing this idea, asking Pharaoh to release the Jewish people only for 3 days? Obviously, Hashem wants the power to release the Jewish people forever. We need to find the redemption. The Jewish people have to be out. So what is going on here? What's this whole idea of celebrating 3 days in the desert? Huh? Any idea? What is going on here? To bring offerings? Yeah, but why this whole presentation was approaching Pharaoh? Let us go for 3 days, we'll be back. That's what basically he's saying. Let us go 3 days, we'll be back. What's the big deal, right? That's what he's saying. But this is not, we know that this is not the truth, guys. Hashem wants to release the Jewish people forever. So the Ohr Chaim says here a point, and I think it's fundamental to understand the whole future when we're going into the 10 plagues and Hashem is punishing Pharaoh. The Ohr Chaim is saying like this. This is a key to understand the dilemma of Pharaoh. Pharaoh is not stupid, guys. He's the king of Egypt. Egypt is a big empire at the day. So he's running the country. He's not stupid. There has to be some logic to Pharaoh. Even that Hashem is hardening his heart, there has to be some logic that he can explain and say, why not to release the Jewish people? You know, it comes to the point that the advisors say to him, are you nuts? Look what's going on. We had the blood all over, right? We have no water to drink. We had the lices, we had the frogs. We have all these crazy animals coming from all kind of places in the jungle and attacking us. We have all sheep, cattle, cows died. So, but at one point, after the lice, they say to him, you didn't realize that the country is going? You're going to lose the country? After the lice, they say, you don't see the hand of Hashem is there? So the advisors of Pharaoh also, remember, it's a kingdom with the whole system, with ministers, advisors, consultors. So he has to have an answer. So, and they point at and they say, you don't see the hand of Hashem, like I said to you. At one point they say, well, you don't see your country, you're losing your country, you're crazy, let the Jewish people go. The Ohr Chaim explains that's the idea. Pharaoh has the dilemma, the question, the Jewish people, Moshe is coming and asking for 3 days. Why is he asking for 3 days? To trick me? Which means, their God has power, but he's not absolute. If he was absolute, they wouldn't trick me. And that's the dilemma of Pharaoh. Pharaoh, like I said, is not stupid. He understands that there's another power above him, but he doesn't know and recognize exactly how much is that power. What is the ultimate power of God? Is it that he could do whatever he wants any time, any given time, and change the order of creation and change things around and move things around from place to place and do whatever he wants? Meaning he's no limits to that God? Or that God of the Jewish people, he's actually limit also. And that's the dilemma of Pharaoh. When they ask for 3 days, why is it? Maybe they really want to come for 3 days and come back. That's all what they want. That's what's going on here. And that means that God could do whatever he wants. Any given time he could do whatever he wants. And that's what they really want, to go for 3 days and come back. Or it means, no. They really want to go away forever. But they just want to trick me. And that God cannot really do whatever he wants. He's limit. And that's why they're asking to go for 3 days, but they're going to run away forever. That's what's going on, always the debate of power. And you see even, guys, that Ohr Chaim gives you a little bit of explanation, because again, he's saying it has to make some sense to a certain degree. What is Pharaoh thinking? And that's the dilemma the whole time. The idea is, he knows that there's another power, but the question is, how powerful is that power? Is it unlimited, forever, ultimate, he'll always be there and do whatever he wants? Or maybe is a power that has certain times power for certain things? And that's exactly what his dilemma the whole time. You see, in the very end, even when it comes to a point that Pharaoh releases the Jewish people, he says, get out of here, right? Leave the land of Egypt, get out of here, right? Pharaoh in pajamas, right? Runs around and looking for Moshe around and says, get out of here. What does he do a week after? Running after the Jewish people. Why? Because he says, they tricked me. They're not coming back. It means that power is limit. Right? They're not coming back. It means that, he cannot do whatever he wants, so let me run after them. So that is, I think, is very fundamental. This explanation of Ohr Chaim is giving a little bit sense that power has to think the whole time, the dilemma. Yes, no, yes, no. Should I let the Jewish people go? Yes or no? What is that power? Is it that power is unlimited, could do whatever he wants, whenever he wants, every given time, or he is limit? That's the dilemma of power the whole time. Okay, guys, have a wonderful day.